Hey guys, so we have the information for the EZA Super Saiyan 4 STR Goku, as well as the AGL Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, aka the 2-year anniversary Super Saiyan 4 units for Dokkan, coming to both JP and Global. So this is very exciting. Obviously, we all knew these guys were coming because they were in the news. We thought they were going to be very busted, and let me just preface this video by saying that they are indeed very, very good. So they posted the information over on Twitter. I did go ahead and translate the information over here, so I have a comparison of basically what they were doing pre-EZA to post-EZA. The post-EZA stuff is in bold here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at what they're doing. Now, I'm going to put them side by side on the same image here just because they're very similar. Well, they weren't even that similar before EZAs, but we can take a look at what they did before EZAs. But once they're EZA, they are very similar. So for Vegeta, let's start with Vegeta here. So, I mean, leader skill is very self-explanatory. It's what we expected for both of them because all the 120% super and extreme class leaders have the exact same EZA leader skills once they're EZA'd. So the super attack effect, let's start with the super attack effect. So prior to EZA, he had immense damage and lowers defense. Very basic and outdated super attack effect. Basically didn't do anything. Now, when he's EZA'd, he has greatly raises defense for 1 turn, which is very powerful specifically for this Vegeta because of the fact that he already is starting the turn with a big defense number. And the way this greatly raising defense works is it's 50% of your defense when you super is added on to your defense. So for instance, let's say this Vegeta is entering the turn and he has 150,000 defense. Once he super attacks, his defense post super attack will be that number times 1.5 because it's 50% of the defensive value added on to what his value is currently. So 150,000 defense, once you super, that's going to go up to 225,000 defense. So the higher your defense is before you super attack, the bigger the effect of this mechanic is going to have on your defense. So that's really good that he gets this great raise for 1 turn. Immense damage to enemy and greatly lowers defense, that's pretty much the same. And then he also now raises his attack by 30% for 6 turns. That is a new effect. So both the greatly raised defense for 1 turn and the raised attack by 30% for 6 turns are both new. I would argue that this is one of the better super attack effects in the entire game when you combine this entire thing into one phrase here. Yeah, that's really good. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a look at his passive. So his passive before EZA was attack and defense plus 120%, medium chance of evading enemy super attack, and countering with tremendous power. So honestly, looking at what he's doing before his EZA, he wasn't too bad. You could honestly still bring this unit into some events and he would do okay. I don't currently have, off the top of my head, a clear image in my head of what his numbers were looking like in terms of attack and defense, but I wouldn't be surprised if you were able to bring him into some events here on like a modern, 170% leader skill category team, and he would probably be sitting somewhere around 120 to 140k defense just instantly, which is actually quite good for a unit as old as this guy is. But now with his EZA, he's getting attack plus 150% and defense plus 120%, gain an additional attack plus 40% when launching super attack, and then he gets a medium chance of evading enemies' attacks and countering. So that part did not change. But the important thing to note about this is they buffed his attack a lot. So he's 100% attack at start of turn, so it's 30% higher than what he was getting before. And he gets an additional 40% when launching a super attack. Again, this 40% additional attack that he's getting is going to be more powerful the higher the attack boost that he has at the start of turn. Because this is going to be something that is calculated on top of the start of turn boost. This is an on super attack boost. They both multiply into each other, and the bigger the start of turn boost, the more effective this 40% is going to be, which means that he's going to be hitting very hard. Now, the reason why I specifically pointed out at the beginning of the video that these units were not super similar when they first came out, you can obviously take a look at their passive, we'll take a look at Goku in a second, is because if you actually take a look at Goku's passive, we'll skip all the way down here, it is actually a 1-for-1 copy. They have the exact same passive. Attack plus 150%, I forgot the percent sign, and defense plus 120%, gain an additional attack plus 40% when launching super attack, and then a medium chance to evade super attack and counter. So they are now the exact same unit. But hold on, because they're not the exact same. The passive is the same, but the super attack effect is slightly different. Goku and Vegeta, they like to do this thing in Dokkan where they like to make basically Goku and Vegeta opposites of each other. So, Vegeta greatly raises defense for 1 turn, Goku greatly raises attack for 1 turn. Vegeta raises attack by 30% for 6 turns, and Goku raises defense by 30% for 6 turns. Goku actually already had this as a part of his super attack effect, the raised defense by 30% for 6 turns, but now he's getting the greatly raised attack for 1 turn, and he's also getting the greatly lowered defense on the super attack. So they are very, very similar. Looking and comparing both of their super attack effects to each other, I would say that because of this, people are probably going to argue that Goku is going to be a better defensive unit, but we'll take a look at something in a second that would maybe sway you in a different direction. But Goku's going to be hitting very hard. I mean, greatly raising attack for 1 turn is pretty decent. I think even when you take a look at everything that's going on, I think Goku probably is going to be the better attacker, even though Vegeta is getting the 30% for 6 turn raise on his super attack effect. I would argue that Goku is going to be hitting harder, and the reason for that is because if you take a look at the wiki pages here, so shout out to the Dokkan wiki, we can take a look at their stats and what their stats are going to be once they are fully EZA'd and rainbowed. So at the bottom here, we can take a look at Goku's current stats, 16.8k attack, which is actually quite high for how old these guys are. Goku's attack, once he is fully EZA'd, is going to be basically 3,000 higher at 19,880. That is approaching STR Gogeta territory with, you know, I'm pretty sure STR Gogeta has the highest attack for a TUR. It's either him or like Int UI Goku under EZA, but this guy's very cool. This is like LR attack stat, pretty much. Defense is going to be around 1.2k higher at 10,306. So when you compare the Goku stats to Vegeta's going to be at 18.3k attack and then 12.3k defense. Goku was clearly designed, initially when he first came out, to be the offensive unit, whereas Vegeta was clearly meant to be the defensive slash more all-around style unit. And that's the reason why their stat spread looks this way. So Goku having almost, 1.5k more attack than Vegeta is going to, essentially tell me that Goku's going to probably be the better offensive unit, even though Vegeta does have the built-in attack stacking in his super attack here. Now, taking a look at the defensive numbers, Goku is at 10.3k and the Vegeta is at 12.3k. So Vegeta has a 2,000 defensive advantage over Goku just due to the stats. So I do think that the defensive stacking from the super attack effect is much more potent and noticeable than the attack raise. So I would say, just from looking at both of these, Goku, even though he has the 30% defensive raise, Vegeta having the greatly raised defense for 1 turn, I think, and him also having just a higher base defensive number, means that he's entering the turn with a higher defensive number than Goku, not counting the super attack effect, and then getting the great raise for 1 turn means that it's going to be a much higher change than Goku's would be, even though it's a 6-turn stacking defensive buff. So I think over the course of like a longer event or something like that, like let's say you jump into the new GT Legendary Goku event, I think this is probably going to end up actually being more valuable than the Great Raise for 1 turn. But the Great Raise for 1 turn is going to wind up with you having a much higher defensive stat for that turn, whereas Goku's, once you get this fully stacked up, then at that point it will be much better than this Great Raise for 1 turn. So it's going to depend on the type of event you're going into, but at the end of the day, people might look at these two EZAs and say, oh, Goku used to be the better offensive unit and Vegeta used to be the better defensive unit, but now Vegeta's the better offensive unit and Goku's the better defensive unit. I actually would say I still like Vegeta better as the defensive unit and I still like Goku better as the offensive unit, but in longer events, Goku is going to wind up being a better unit overall, because I feel like he'll be both the better defensive and offensive unit due to the defensive stacking here and his stats. But honestly, at the end of the day, these units were pretty much designed to be used together with each other, and to me, you're going to have Goku in the first slot and Vegeta in the second slot on, like, the GT Hero team, the Giant 8 Power team, and even just like the Super Class team if you want to run that, Pure Saiyan, stuff like that. So the final thing I'll talk about before we end the video is, currently on Global we have the LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta, and then now we have the EZA for the STR Super Saiyan 4 Goku and then AGL Super Saiyan. I just realized I forgot his name in there. That's great. Super Saiyan 4 Goku, in case you didn't know who this was. The problem with Global is that Global does not have the same name update yet, which means we can't run 2 rotations of the LR Super Saiyan 4s and now the EZA Super Saiyan 4s. We have to pick and choose which ones we want to use. I would say, just looking at the details here, I think I would prefer to use the EZAs over the LRs for now. I think these EZAs are very clearly going to be better than the LRs, if that is even possible to believe. But, you know, in the future, JP has an update where you can actually use units that have the same name on the same team together. So theoretically on JP, you could run a team, you know, let's just say GT Hero, for instance, where you have one rotation of the LR Super Saiyan 4s and then one rotation of the EZA Super Saiyan 4s. So eventually Global's going to get that update, and at that point you can just run a full Super Saiyan 4 GT Hero team or something like that, or a Grade 8 Giant 8 Power with Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta floating around. It's going to be a very powerful team. But regardless, that is going to be the sort of initial look and breakdown of the EZA Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know down below what you think about the actual details that we have here for them. Do you like them? Do you not like them? Do you wish they were better? Do you wish they were not as great? And that's pretty much going to cover it here. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.